Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the film Misery. Now, as you know, Misery is a 1990 psychological thriller film that was directed by Rob Reiner, as well as being based on Stephen King's novel from 1987 of the same name. Now, the premise of the film is meant to be about Paul Sheldon, who is an author of a successful series of Victorian romance novels known as Misery. And it becomes clear from what he's writing, as well as from what he's planned to do, is that he's planned to write more serious stories and sort of give Misery a sort of ending to end the series there and there. And you can tell that, yeah, Paul Sheldon is sort of meant to wants to kind of be remembered for something else than just romance novels. So of course, during his drive from Silver Creek, Colorado to his home in New York, he ends up being caught in a blizzard and being rescued by a nurse known as Annie Wilkes. Now, I would say Annie Wilkes is a cautionary tale to what could happen if someone who was obsessed with a film, a comic, a game series, or a book can take their interests too far. And you can kind of tell Annie Wilkes starts off nice, nurturing, and this really nice person, but when she finds out what happened to the character Misery, as well as the way she acts when reading Paul's planned book, it's clear that she's meant to sort of believe she's the good guy when she's not, and is meant to kind of believe that she's the number one fan, even though it's clear that she's psychopathic and sees herself as this golden idol, and wants him to sort of destroy the novel, which sort of breaks Paul's heart, knowing that something he worked on was taken from him. And from someone who's actually wrote something and had it destroyed, I can kind of relate to this. And of course, he does sort of forcibly make Paul rewrite the novel with a new title known as Misery's Return. And you can kind of tell right away that Paul has to use his cunning, his smarts, as well as finding ways to sort of get out of the house and sort of get help. And what's interesting is that you've got the sheriff trying to put two and two together and realizing what's really going on. And I would say the sheriff is a bit of this jokeful character to his wife. He's kind of a bit more like smarter than the other reporters and the other police force. And pretty much I would say the movie itself is a cautionary tale. It's meant to show by Stephen King, as well by the director Rob Reiner, what could happen if someone took their interests or their obsession with someone too far. And I've seen this before with so many people. I've seen people complain about Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I've seen people complain about the Devil May Cry reboot, pointing out stupid reasons, even though the games weren't too bad, or Shenmue 3. I've seen people complain about mostly, say, a TV show like Thundercats Raw, despite the show paying attention to its original roots, unlike Teen Titans Go. I've seen people sort of complain about movies like the 2003 Hulk, despite it keeping close to the comics and it taking more time with the story. And I've seen people like Kristen Weston Chandler with his dislike for Sonic's blue arms. I've seen people like Animat dislike for, say, Sony Pictures Animation. It's important to understand that these were decisions by people who thought they were trying to do the right thing. It's important as a fan to respect the person's work and not expect to get what you want. And I know that they also did cover Annie Walker's backstory, in the TV show Castle Rock that was supposed to kind of cover Annie's childhood and her time in the hospital, which which the movie sort of gives you that sort of glimpse in her sort of journal, and Paul looking in surprise and horror at what Annie's capable of. And I would say this is one of the Stephen King movies that doesn't need a pet cemetery, it doesn't need a haunted hotel, and it doesn't need children in a giant cornfield. It was meant to be a cautionary tale and a warning to what could happen when a fan takes their love for something way too far. So I think Misery wrote its story and presented itself quite well. It's a cautionary tale done well. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.